Vivian Hale counted the crumpled bills in her apron pocket for the third time that morning, hoping somehow the total might have changed since the last count. $6. That was what remained until her next paycheck, still 4 days away, and rent was already a week overdue. She worked mornings at Miller's Bakery downtown, arriving before sunrise to help prepare the day's bread and pastries, the warm, familiar smell of fresh dough filling the small shop long before customers began arriving. It wasn't much, but it was steady, and steady mattered more than most things these days. That morning, while sweeping the sidewalk outside the shop before opening, Vivian noticed something tucked partially beneath a nearby bench, a leather wallet, clearly expensive, clearly forgotten by someone in a hurry. She picked it up carefully, glancing around instinctively for anyone who might be searching for it. Finding no one, she opened it cautiously, discovering several credit cards, a driver's license identifying the owner as Daniel Reyes, and a thick fold of cash, considerably more than she'd seen in one place in longer than she could remember. For a brief, uncomfortable moment, temptation flickered quietly through her mind. $6 wouldn't cover rent. This easily would. But almost as quickly as the thought arrived, Vivian set it firmly aside. She had grown up watching her mother struggle similarly, yet her mother had always insisted, consistently, that integrity mattered more than convenience, especially when convenience came at someone else's expense. She tucked the wallet safely behind the bakery counter, finishing her shift before carefully looking up the address listed on the license, deciding to return it personally rather than risk it being lost again through unreliable mail. The address led her to a modest, unassuming office building downtown, nothing like she expected given the wallet's contents. Inside, she explained her situation to the receptionist, who, after a brief phone call, guided her toward a private office on the second floor. Daniel Reyes looked up, visibly surprised as Vivian entered, holding his wallet carefully in both hands. "I believe this is yours," she said simply, placing it gently on his desk. "I found it outside the bakery where I worked this morning." Daniel opened it quickly, confirming everything remained exactly as he'd left it, cash included. "Everything's here," he said, genuine surprise evident in his voice. "Thank you. I hadn't even realized it was missing yet. I figured you'd want it back," Vivian said simply, already turning to leave. "Wait," Daniel said, standing quickly. "Please, at least let me thank you properly. That's a considerable amount of cash to return untouched." Vivian hesitated, exhaustion and quiet pride mixing plainly across her tired expression. "It wasn't mine to keep," she said honestly. Simple as that. Daniel studied her carefully, genuinely moved by her straightforward sincerity. "Not everyone would see it that simply," he said. "Can I ask your name?" "Vivian," she said. "Vivian Hale." "Vivian," Daniel repeated thoughtfully. "Please, at least let me offer a reward. It's the least I can do." Vivian shook her head firmly. "I didn't return it for a reward," she said. "I returned it because it was the right thing to do." Daniel considered her response carefully, respecting her clear conviction, though something about her situation, the visible exhaustion, the careful, worn state of her simple work clothes, settled uncomfortably in his thoughts. "At least let me ask," he said gently, "how are things, otherwise? You mentioned working at the bakery. Are you doing all right?" Vivian hesitated, unaccustomed to such direct concern from someone she'd just met. "We manage," she said simply. "It's not always easy, but we manage." Daniel nodded slowly, clearly choosing his next words carefully. "I run a logistics company," he said. "We're actually expanding our administrative team soon. If you're interested, I'd like to formally interview you, not out of obligation for returning the wallet, but because your honesty and composure just now told me plenty about your character." Vivian studied him carefully, cautious but curious. "I don't have much experience outside the bakery." "Character matters more than experience in situations like this," Daniel said honestly. "Experience can be taught. Integrity can't." After a moment's consideration, Vivian nodded slowly. "I'd be willing to interview," she said. "Formally, on my own merits." "Absolutely," Daniel agreed immediately. "That's exactly how it should be." 2 weeks later, following a formal interview process, Vivian officially joined Reyes Holdings as an administrative assistant, her steady reliability and honest, straightforward nature quickly earning respect among her new colleagues. Months later, having settled comfortably into her new position, Vivian found herself reflecting on the unexpected turn her life had taken, from $6 crumpled and mounting anxiety, to steady, meaningful employment that finally allowed her some breathing room. During a quiet company gathering, Daniel approached her, genuine warmth evident in his expression. "I still think about that morning," he admitted. "You could have kept the cash. No one would have known." "I would have known," Vivian said simply. "That's usually enough to stop me." Daniel smiled, appreciating her quiet, unwavering conviction. "That's exactly the kind of person I want representing this company." "I appreciate that," Vivian said sincerely. "More than you probably realize." As the gathering continued around them, Vivian found herself thinking back to that difficult, uncertain morning, the $6, the tempting fold of cash, the quiet, deliberate choice she'd made without much hesitation despite everything she stood to gain otherwise. "For what it's worth," Daniel said, as if reading her thoughts, $6 in complete integrity is worth infinitely more than whatever you might have taken that morning. Vivian smiled, genuine warmth settling comfortably behind her tired but hopeful expression. "I'm starting to believe that," she said. "Especially now." As the evening light softened gently outside the office windows, Vivian found herself deeply grateful, not simply for the unexpected opportunity that had reshaped her circumstances, but for the quiet, steady conviction that had guided her decision that difficult morning, proof that sometimes doing the right thing, even when it costs you dearly in the moment, eventually finds its way back around, exactly when you need it most.